Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have with us Steve Barton, founder of Steve Barton Coaching, creator of the game of 10, a framework presented to Harvard Business School that helps high performing leaders dissolve guilt and shame to achieve clarity and confident action. So we'll explore with him how awareness transforms decision making, why I'm enough is a competitive advantage, and practical steps to move from overthinking to operating at level 10. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Well, thank you, AJ, for having me across the world. I'm in Portland, Maine, about 2 hours north of Boston, and I'm very happy to speak to your audience and you, and looking forward to answering as many questions as I can for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Steve, welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of leaders, a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about and understand about your framework, the game of 10, and much more. But before that, let's understand a bit about your journey, your story, your background, so that the audience knows who they are listening to.
Well, my background in business is I started at 22 years old out of business school at the University of Maine in Portland, Maine, and I knew I was going to go into my family flower business, but I knew that my father and I couldn't work together because we were both powerful people that wanted to run a small business. So I was about to leave for Europe with a one-way ticket to Germany and Amsterdam to learn the design part of business and floral capital of the world at the time, 33 years ago or more, 40 years ago. And my father had a full-blown stroke. Half of his body was paralyzed. He's come back 95% after that. He was a fighter. And so I took over the business at 22 years old, brought it from 200,000 to 2 million by the time we sold in 2007. After that, I got my financial advisor's licenses, Series 766 in Maine State Insurance. I realized quickly I didn't really want to do that. So coaching opportunity came up, and I love business. I love psychology. I love people. I love talking to people, helping people. And in the meantime, when you help others, you help yourself, and it all works out quite nicely.
Absolutely, Steve. Absolutely. So I want to understand for the audience is that what is it that you are trying to say? You talk about game of 10, you talk about, high performance, you talk about awareness. What is it that you want to tell the world about what you are doing?
What I want to tell the world about what I'm doing is everything's okay. Everything works for you when you get out of the way and let it. To be happy with who you are, what you have. Always shoot for the sky and work towards that and stay on track to do that. A lot of times people get distracted, and the distractions from your main goals of who you see yourself as and who your full potential is only sidetracked by your own decisions to chase many shiny objects along the way versus what's the main goal? Where's your highway? What is your 60 mile, 70 mile an hour, 80, 100 mile an hour Autobahn that you can go down quickly versus get distracted by distractions that don't get you to where you want to go. And in the process, it's very difficult to get back on track at times. So I think my main goal is to get people to realize they're very powerful with who they are and to accept who they are 100%. And that is the key. And you mentioned before, the key is enough. And that we'll get into the game of 10, I'm sure. So.
Absolutely. So what stops them? Means they are powerful, They know about it, they have achieved things, and suddenly there is a speed breaker, and
Mhm.
self-created speed breaker or roadblock. Why does it happen, especially with people who have achieved? Means, do they know about it or they don't know about? Help us understand from a common person's perspective so that they know it.
Okay, so the game of tens is based on we're all appointed 10. From the time we are born, we are perfect individuals, human beings coming into this plane of existence to reach our fullest potential, to have self-realization, to be enlightened, to be who we are born to be. So we're appointed 10, and through life's journey, through life's situations, we oftentimes get disappointed from who we are, and we believe it. So the disappointments can be traumas. They can be something that you're not doing your best, you're not right, you don't do enough, you don't have enough, and they can go down to one. With severe abuse and trauma, people can get so depressed and low in their vibration, their awareness, that they will attract at that level of awareness. So the universe also validates where you're at. If you're at level 1, then life is going to be pretty hard, very hard. If you're at level 9, you're really good. Most executives, CEOs are at level 9, but they don't get to 10 because they want that extra 10% to keep them pushing. I can do better. I can have more. I can be this. I can, my goal is to run the company, the district, the world. So I think the key is to just really come from awareness, and awareness is unconditioned love. And love has been so deviated from what it is. My definition of love is unconditional acceptance of a person, place, or situation as it is right now. Doesn't mean you agree.
Absolutely.
You accept it, but you don't agree with it. So there's also the boundaries of love. Yes, no, stay, go.
Absolutely, absolutely, Steve. So you talk about, using your thoughts and not they using you. Help us understand about this. What does it mean, especially for leaders?
Yes, a lot of times we've been trained. I think, therefore I am. I think Rene Descartes. Well, I think, therefore I'm not being my authentic self. We have thoughts, we have feelings, we have emotions, we have a body. A hammer didn't build my house. A hammer is a tool that was used by a human being to assist that human in building my house. Okay. So I think that the first realization to have is we are not our past. We are not our identity. We have an identity. We are not our ego. We have an ego. Okay. We are our spirit, our energetic force. That is who we are. And to operate from there versus from the tools that are used to align with that energetic self, our authentic self, our being.
Absolutely. So when you say that you must, exercise or think from a point of awareness, and here you are talking about using thoughts for your advantage, whereas you also talk about awareness as the absence of thoughts. Help us understand. What is it that you are trying to say? How do you operate without thoughts and from awareness, which doesn't have any thoughts?
Right. So think of our awareness as our connection to the universal source. Some call it God, some call it many different things. It is a universal intelligence or a consciousness that we are always connected to, whether we know it or not. So the awareness is the awareness of the awareness is meta awareness, which is the state of being that I know I am. I know I'm in the I am. And when you in that state of awareness, you download ideas and universal knowledge. They are different than thoughts. You can take those ideas and universal knowledge and create from thoughts the hammers, the screwdrivers, the tools to build that dream that you were downloaded from your awareness.
Absolutely, Steve. So when you talk of, uh, in terms of operating from enough, and when you think about that I am enough, does it, how do you separate yourself from ego, or a point of where you, because it's all about team players, where you have to have the team use it in the right way, and do not think that you are, superhuman, beyond human, which will take you away from that. And obviously you don't mean that. I want to understand, how should people understand I am enough?
Great question. And first of all, we are an aspect of the I am. And in time, if your audience knows about Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, the present moment is the only time there is. So there's a time-space continuum, and the universal space, the universal portion, and the universal quantity is enough. So in a simple sentence, now is always and always has been enough. And using that basis of awareness, then you can build from this. This is my enough right now. Do a psychic, do a physical inventory of what do we have to work with? What is our goal? What are the tools we need? What are the physical tools, the emotional tools? What do we need for this? Time, money, material space, things to put this plan into action. So it's the game of 10 is very common sense, practical. There's not a lot of room for woo-woo in it, but if you want to break it down into the woo-woo, that's fine. But it's very common sense. I love to say common sense is our sixth sense. It's the sense we all have in common. It's our intuition.
Absolutely. So let's understand the game of 10 framework, so that people understand, and you also talk about game often
Okay.
vis-a-vis game of, so that
Yeah.
people can understand it, apply it in
Yeah.
their lives, in whatever they are doing.
All right. Let's play both games. Do you want me to? I'll say them myself, or you can repeat them to your audience to reinforce it. The game often played is, I'm not 10. I'm not doing the best I can with the awareness that I have. I'm not right with the awareness I have. I'm not enough. I don't do enough, and I don't have enough. I'm a victim to the world. 1 through 9. The game of 10 is, I am 10. I'm doing the best that I can with the awareness that I have. I'm always right with the awareness that I have. I am enough. I do enough, and I have enough. Those 6 phrases are so powerful to our mind. It's feeding our mind a truth. It quiets the reticular activating system, our ego, our identity, to saying, hey, Steve or AJ has this, we're all set. We don't have to come in and give him fear as a motivation for him to do better and have more. So it quiets the mind and allows us to align. So the first statement is a statement of declaration of who we universally are, who everyone is. The next two statements, I'm doing the best I can with the awareness I have. I'm always right with the awareness that I have. Those are declarations of our divinity and our divine innocence. The next 3 statements, I am enough, I do enough, and I have enough. I am, I do, I have, the be, do, have of everyday life. We've always been being, doing, and having every second of every moment of every day in our life. Present moment awareness, and the awareness that we are the universal quantity embodied in a body having a physical experience. And enough is the universal quantity. It's always been enough.
Absolutely.
It puts us in a state of gratitude and grace as well. Grace, innocence, and awareness.
Absolutely, Steve. We are into a human existence. We are into a real world, this particular world where it is also, looks at you, what you do, how you do, and whether you do it correctly or not correctly. In this, why I ask this is, you know, in terms of when we say everything is fine, for a common person it is okay, but somebody who is a leader, if they say, I have already done enough, I am doing enough, how do you create that vision for achieving things which are still not there, but you have to achieve it for the goals that you have set for either your company, organization, for yourself, for humanity? If you have that bigger purpose, move towards that, optimize yourself at that level rather than being content, in what you have and thinking that I have done enough. Is that
Got
what a leader should think about?
it. That leader will be voted off from the board of directors quite quickly if he came and started preaching the game of 10 without the background story in a heartbeat. So I highly recommend not doing that. So it's kind of like manifesting. You want to have this big house, this family, this life that you want to manifest, okay? Well, the fact is, it's not here right now, okay? Again, Eckhart Tolle explained it really well. It's like, I have the space for this. Okay, so in our minds, so if someone was homeless and had no money and didn't have anything, I want a huge yacht. Well, your yacht gets delivered the next day. Where are you going to store this, sir? Well, I don't have any money to do this. Well, where are you going to? I'm in the middle of the desert. So where do you want us to park this? You ordered it and you delivered it. Now we need payment for it. So just because you ask for something, it may not be you have the space for it. So the universe works for you and with you if you allow it to, but it also can cause a lot of problems if you ask for the wrong things. So you really do have to take an inventory where you're at, what are the steps you need to take to get to that next step, and then the universe does support it when we are in alignment to it. I hope that cleared up that just because you ask for a $40 million yacht and you live in the middle of the desert and they deliver it to you based on credit, it may not be the best thing you've ever asked for.
Absolutely. So, in a nutshell, what would you like to tell people about, what we just discussed? Also, anything else that is important, but I didn't ask you.
I, you're doing a really great job interviewing me and allowing me to have clarity with what the game of 10 is and what the game often played is. It's a choice. It's a practice because we practice being less than 10. It takes practice in exercising our mind to get back to 10. So it's not as easy as I'm making it sound. It is easy when you're ready. It's not easy when you're not. Some people will have a nervous breakdown and they come to this awakening and saying, oh my God, I could have been happy my whole life. Yes. So we have a lot of people have a lot of disappointments and letting go. So part of the game of 10 is about letting go. And people don't quite understand how to let go. They think that person, place, or situation hurt them. Every time I think of that person, place, that hurts me. So they get stuck in this hurt victim mentality for much of their life. So forgive people. I think the greatest thing that you can learn is how to forgive. And you don't forgive the person, place, or situation. You forgive the thought, the actions, the story. You let go of the story and the thoughts about the person, place, and situation. It doesn't mean it didn't happen. It's just letting go of the thoughts that have an emotion attached to it, typically fear, self-doubt, guilt, and shame. And you're letting go of those. It doesn't mean the videotape can't still happen. It won't be connected to your life. It's compassionate detachment. Was it a mistake? Yeah. Did it bring you to where you are today? Yeah. So are there mistakes? Probably not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well explained, Steve. Let's come to your book. You have written the book, and this you talked about initially, at the start, talked about how you and your dad were both powerful people and I wanted to run their business as a. Here you have, co-authored this book with your son. So tell us a bit about this particular book of yours, The Father, the Son, and the Aha Moment.
Well, that book was written. I wanted to write my first. This was my first book, so I hired a company that says write a book, because I had no idea. I had an idea, and the idea was the game of 10. And so I was also taking a coaching course to be certified from A Course in Miracles. Marianne Williamson, I don't know if you know who she is, travels the world lecturing on A Course in Miracles. During COVID, she was basically grounded in Washington, D.C. She met up for coffee with this woman who writes books for people. So I signed up for Miracle Minded Coaching, and I finished the course in a month, been a student of Course in Miracles for 30 years. Then I said, oh, that same company is, you can write a book. So I signed up to write a book. The owner gets on the phone with me and says, Steve, you're in a pile on my desk of we don't know what to do with you. I said, welcome to my world. And so she says, so you want to write a book? I said, yeah. She goes, what's the name of the book? And I said, The Game of 10. She says, nobody's going to buy it. Okay. And I just gave her the silent, let her simmer in her own juices. And she goes, don't you want to know why? I said, no. And then she let her simmer a little bit more. She goes, well, I'll tell you why. She says, you're not Beyonce. I said, okay. And she said, if you were Beyonce and Beyonce wrote a book called The Game of 10, then then it would have sold millions of copies. What else you got? I said, well, I'm writing it with my 18-year-old son as a father-son project, as well as to get my coaching process out to the world. She goes, okay, it's a parenting book. I said, okay. And so I'm pretty adaptable. And so we came up with the name, The Father, the Son, and the Aha Moment, as a truth that is always a Trinity. We are body, mind, spirit, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Whatever the universe works in the triads of stability. And so that's how the book, it's tools for you and your child to develop a path to happiness. So people come up to me who I've given the book, well, I don't have any children, so, I'll read it. But I said, so my response is, oh, do you have an inner child? They go, oh yeah. I said, read it to your inner child. We're always healing our inner child. And the book is used for that. So really it's for parents and it's for children. To be a great parent, you have to be a healed adult. Show me a healed parents, mother and father, and I'll show you a stable child for the most part. And there is nature and nurture that does come into play as well. So those parents know that you always did your best with the awareness you have, and you always did enough. And so, parenting is really a tough business that very few people make a fortune doing.
Absolutely, Steve. There is so much to learn about all this from you, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you, learn about the Game of 10, and also from your book. What's the best way for them to do so?
Well, my book is on Amazon, The Father, the Son, the Aha Moment, with Stephen and Spencer Barton. You can get it. Your audience can download a free book on my website. It's an ebook, and that is through www.steve, S-T-E-V-E, Barton, B-A-R-T-O-N, coaching.com. And I promise that you will get about 5 email trickles, because that's my lead magnet for a coaching business. You can go book a call with me to find out more. And I'm a soft sell. I don't want to work with someone who doesn't want to be coached. But I do want to work with people who do. So you have to be ready for personal development. And I think the best thing that Warren Buffett ever said was to Becky Quick on CNBC, when Becky asked him, Warren, what can you offer our first-time investors before they get started into investing? He said, that's easy. Invest in yourself, in personal development.
Wonderful, wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining
Thank you.
us.
Thank you so much.